So going into summer of 2018, I was diagnosed with diabetes. I had a mild stroke. I had high blood pressure, and the doctors also told me that I had high cholesterol. So that was everything I had to deal with in terms of my health. And I had to lose the weight, obviously. So I knew that that was pressing on me to do. I started eating a little bit healthier, still not knowing which diet to go on. And I also had a vacation coming up, and I knew that that was a time where I would want to be a little more relaxed on my diet. So I got a gym membership, and I did a little bit of walking to start. Not much of an improvement over the first 2 months of summer. It was really after I got back from my vacation that I put my mind into it. And so the following is what I did to fix my health, and I had a lot of help from other YouTube channels, from other sources on social media and the internet that gave me a path that I could follow to improve my health. Um, so basically, I found out about a ketogenic diet, which essentially is a diet that restricts carbohydrates and will get you off of refined sugar and anything that has a lot of sugar. Anything that is not a whole food really is discouraged. And that was a good place for me to start. I took to the advice of Dr. Eric Berg, who you can find on YouTube and has a large social presence on the internet. He's been very instrumental in the information that he gives, and I hope to reach out to him and support him more so. So shout out to Dr. Eric Berg. But yeah, he put me onto the ketogenic diet, and he put me on to something called intermittent fasting. And I think what really helped me a lot was that once I took to it, funny thing is that I didn't even realize that I was adapting my body for fat even before I found out that intermittent fasting is something that you can get into, and it's a lot easier to do when you're not eating a lot of sugar. Like, say if I were to eat a pizza for one night and then decide to fast for 3 days after that, I would have a lot harder time because of the carbs in the bread and the nature of it not being a whole food. I would have a hard time continuing that fast for 3 days. But if I were to eat a meal with some avocado, some eggs, maybe some bacon, some healthy lean meat, and lots of vegetables, lots of kale, cruciferous vegetables, then I would have a better shot at sustaining myself, putting myself into ketosis, which is the state in which you're burning your own body's supply of energy from your stored fat. And, you know, I could go on all day. In fact, I would like to make a further video just on this topic, but I'm getting a little side railed here, so let me divert. So I employed that tactic. It was around September that I really started putting the intermittent fasting to work. So I would skip a meal, then I would go up one to, you know, skipping breakfast the next day, maybe not eating from 7 p.m. the night before until 11 a.m. the next day. That helped for a few days. All the while eating a very full, healthy fat diet with a little bit of protein and lots of vegetables. I did start out on a carnivore diet for a couple of weeks, but then I realized that I did need the vegetables in my diet for the sake of nutrients like potassium and vitamin B and vitamin A. You know, there is a lot of benefits from eating healthy food, as I found out. So the intermittent fasting ramped up into October. I decided to take a little bit of time off work. I decided to improve my sleep, so I went and I got myself a really nice, comfortable bed. I had time off from work, so I was avoiding stress, which was another thing that's going to keep you from losing weight. And I just wanted to take the time and do this right, and that's what I did. I got up to periods where I would go for 24-hour fast, ramp it up to 36 hours. I also went up to 3-day fast on a number of occasions. And the longest I did was probably, I would say, about 4.5 days. I can't say I made it quite to 5 days. At that point, in December, I think it was, I did almost a 5-day fast, and that really pushed me over the edge. So in September, I weighed in still around, I would say I was down to 280 by September. Maybe beginning of September, I was still around 290, but into the end of September, 280. By November, I was hitting down to about 260. By the end of December, I remember going to family Christmas and announcing that I made it down to 235, probably 240 that day. I remember having a really big family feast that day and being worried that with all the accomplishments I made and all the great support from my family that I would start to fall off. But I made sure to go out the next day and walk for several hours and fast as well and stay on top of it. So yeah, by the end of the year, I was looking good. I was down to about 235 pounds. And I'll move into the next segment here on my thoughts on the beginning of this year, 2019. And I want to fill in some of the details on what I did. And one of those things was the walking. I really got a great boost, not only from the fasting, but from doing a lot of walking. I have a step counter on my phone. I probably clocked in about almost 150 miles per month, just walking, because it is a great way to keep yourself from being hungry, get your mind off of things, and it helped me to open up um, some positive thoughts on life. And I would also like to share those with you as well. So I hope to see you in the next one.